Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Backyard Buckets. Today we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers and all the youth they've traded away over the past couple of years in the process of bringing in LeBron, AD, and winning a championship. Obviously, with them winning a championship, they did the right thing because you get a championship. It doesn't matter if you're terrible for the next 5 years. You got a championship, that's what your fans want. Obviously, they're probably the favorite again this year if Anthony Davis can come back. But still, they traded away a lot of young pieces. Today we're going to be talking about that, but first, before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe on today's video. It'll help us out a lot. We're trying to hit 1.5K by the end of April, so make sure to subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. And with that being said, let's get started. So I had said we were going to be talking about trades, but I am going to take that back. There was one player that they let walk that they shouldn't have. But the three main trades we're going to be talking about, obviously the Anthony Davis trade, in which they traded away Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, a draft pick that became a really, really good player, as we're going to talk about. And we're going to be talking about the Jordan Clarkson trade, where they kind of just sent him for Isaiah Thomas. That did not end up well for the Lakers at all. It didn't really end up well for the Cavs either, but they did get a little bit more than the Lakers out of it. Obviously letting Julius Randle walk. That was one of the bigger free agency decisions that they made. And then the first of all of their moves was trading D'Angelo Russell to the Nets. They don't get Kyle Kuzma or Brook Lopez back. But, I mean, D'Angelo Russell's turned into a really, really good player. So we're going to talk about all those trades in depth real quick. The first one being for Anthony Davis, who's a top 5, probably top 10 player in today's NBA. Just helped LeBron and company go to the bubble, win a championship, all that. He does have a bit of an Achilles injury right now, which could be bad for Laker Nation going into the playoffs, but still, I mean, when you have a chance to get a top 10 player in the league, top 8 probably, top 6, top 5, top 4, wherever you got him on your personal rankings list, you can go out and get a really, really good player that can change your team. You have to. It doesn't matter really what it costs. You can see, you've seen this with the Paul George, James Harden trades. Obviously, Paul George not working out as well as the Anthony Davis trade. And then we don't know yet about the James Harden trade. But whenever you can go get a really good player, you have to. That's why the Lakers gave up everything they did. Brandon Ingram this year, he's averaging 24, 5, and 5. And quick disclaimer, I know that these contracts probably will not add up. This is kind of a hypothetical, fictional world that we're in right now. Not everything's going to be correct under the salary cap rules and all that. I know Brandon Ingram just got that huge extension. We're going to talk about the salary a little bit later. But yeah, Brandon Ingram, 24, 5, and 5 on 47% from the field, 41% from 3. Also giving up Lonzo Ball, who's having a pretty good year, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 42% from the field and 37% from 3, which is pretty good for Lonzo. And then you give up Josh Hart, who's a pretty good bench player for the Pelicans. I think he's averaging about 8 and 7, or I know he's averaging about 8 and 7. And then DeAndre Hunter, who was that 4th pick that the Pelicans ended up flipping for, who was it? I believe the 10th and 17th pick, which ended up being Jackson Hayes and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Obviously, the Hawks keeping Cam Reddish. I think Jackson was actually the 8th pick. And Cam went 10th. And then you got Shai, who's been a really good player for the Pelicans so far this season. But DeAndre Hunter putting up 17, 5, and 2 in his sophomore season. So that's even more value when you think about it that you gave up for Anthony Davis, who, I mean, it's worth it. He was, 25, 26 when this trade happened. He's on the Lakers for at least the next 5, 6 years probably. I mean, they'll have to re-sign him and everything, but I don't know why you wouldn't want to come back and play with LeBron and win some championships. The next trade we're going to be talking about is the Larry Nance and Jordan Clarkson deal with Cleveland. They gave up Larry Nance and Jordan Clarkson for Isaiah Thomas. Obviously, IT did not work out for the Lakers at all. It was a bit of a bad situation there, and it was kind of on his way out of being a really good NBA player. Obviously, the injuries and stuff for him really hurt him. But they did give up Jordan Clarkson in that trade to the Cavs. For whatever reason, just flipped to the Utah Jazz, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that he went straight there. What the heck was that? He's just underhanded. Oh my. But yeah, this year Jordan Clarkson has turned into a very, very good role player. Very good sixth man off the bench for the Utah Jazz, who are the best team in the NBA right now, at least record-wise. You can say what you want, but they're really dang good right now. He's averaging 18, 4, and 2 on 46, 39 shooting splits, so really, really good numbers there from Clarkson. Larry Nance, well, I didn't put his stats down, but he's a pretty decent backup big. He's hurt right now, I do believe, so hopefully he'll come back soon for Cleveland, come back the same, if not better. And then this was a big deal. Letting the man you're watching right now walk in free agency. He's looking like an MVP candidate. No, let me calm down. He could be an all-star for the New York Knicks. A very, very underrated signing. Finally a good signing by the New York Knicks. What is it with the Hornets and the Knicks all of a sudden making really good free agent decisions? I mean, something new, isn't it? It really is. 2020, 2021. But still, they let Randle walk. He signed with the Pelicans. I forget the details of that contract, but then he obviously signed with the Knicks. And he's turned into a really good player, averaging 23, 11, and 6 on 48 and 40 shooting splits. So really good numbers from Julius Randle there. The last trade we're going to talk about actually happened first, and it was trading D'Angelo Russell and Timofey Mozgov to the Brooklyn Nets for Kyle Kuzma and Brook Lopez. Now this was a bit of a salary dump trade, same with possibly the IT deal. But they were obviously trying to get off Mozgov's contract. So now the Lakers wouldn't be getting Kuz, who was a pretty good piece for that team last year. Wouldn't be getting Brook Lopez, who really didn't do that great for the Lakers anyway. He was only there for half a year, if that. But D'Angelo Russell this year, he's averaging 19, 3, and 5 on 43 and 40 shooting splits. So pretty good season from D'Lo. I know he's been hurt. He's about to have a surgery again. I think he's out 4 to 6 weeks. So him and Cat are not going to play much together, which is kind of sad. But still, that was not the greatest move. I know a lot of stuff was happening with D'Lo in Los Angeles, and they just brought in Lonzo. But still. So now we're going to go down here and look at their potential lineup with all these players. Now, I know they dumped the Mozgov contract for LeBron, so we're just going to kind of throw salary out the window a little bit. I'm still going to try to make up excuses and stuff for what it could be. So, Bron, he's their main max contract. He's starting at the 1. They got D'Lo at the 2, who's making a decent salary. Not exactly sure there. Brandon Ingram at the 3 is taking up that second max slot that Anthony Davis is occupying right now. Julius Randle, I'm going to say he's taking up the Dennis Schroeder money there at the 4. And then you still got Montrezl because, I mean, he's on a pretty cheap contract. So we're just going to throw him in there at the 5. Off the bench, you got Lonzo, who's not making that much money. You got Clarkson, who's on a pretty favorable team deal, or team favorable deal, whatever. You got Josh Hart, and you got DeAndre Hunter. Hunter's still on a rookie contract, obviously. Not sure about Hart. And then Marc Gasol, who they brought in for a very, very small contract. So, I mean, if you look at this team, it's probably going to be a really, really good team. You got the best player in the NBA at the point, or at least in my opinion. Best player in the NBA at the point. Although KD is challenging. But KD don't even play that much. Freaking LaMelo is the best player in the NBA. I don't know what I'm talking about, sorry. But anyways, you got LeBron, you got D'Angelo Russell. That's a pretty dang good backcourt. Brandon Ingram can basically score on whoever he wants. God, words are hard. Julius Randle's having a really, really good season. And then Montrezl brings most of the defense for this lineup. Alonzo off the bench controlling the point. You got Jordan Clarkson obviously playing the 6-man role, getting most of the scoring done for the bench unit. Josh Hart there to provide good defense and just a glue guy at the 3. DeAndre Hunter, who can score and defend at the 4. Might have a bit of an issue defending some of the larger players, but you got Marc Gasol at the 5, who is very old, but still a pretty decent defender. Now, by no means am I saying that the Lakers should have kept these players. They definitely would not have won a championship by now with this core, but in the future it'd be very, very bright. Also, you'd have a couple of young assets to trade up for Bronny to keep LeBron happy in LA. Obviously, you want to keep LeBron around. But with that being said, we are out of time for today's video, so make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed at any point. And thank you for watching. Be sure to come back later. We'll have more out.